bringing you news, politics, and whatever else tickles my fancy. Welcome to the Ho Ho Show, and I'm your host, Ho Ho. All right, broadcasting live from the attic. You can check out my website, thehohoshow.com. You can follow me on Twitter. You can email me, hoho@thehohoshow.com. You can find me on Facebook and check out my YouTube channel. So telephone number, as always, 217-917-4405 if you want to call and be part of the show. A proud member of Weaponized Sloth Productions, so welcome to the Ho Ho Show. And as usual, I'm Ho Ho. Oh, yes. Yes, I am. All right, guys. Well, now let's see here. Let's go ahead and first, welcome Spreaker, welcome Mixer, Twitch, YouTube, Facebooks, and Periscope. How y'all's doing? What is up, Ray? Well, you're on two places, man. You're like an overachiever. All right, guys. This one I'm gonna try to maintain. I'm gonna try to be contained. I'm going to try to be somewhat mellow, maybe. Keep it a little bit more on the PC level. But I'm touching base today on a hot topic. A hot topic. Nothing to do with the the business. Kind of like that business, actually. I've not been in there in a while, though. Not been in there in a while at all. Yeah. So. Oh, well. Who's this one? Holy crap, man. What the heck? Wow. That's hilarious. All right, guys. Let's see here. I have got more things ordered for the computer. I am actually almost done. So that's pretty awesome. I was looking through some stuff on the camera that I'm currently using, and I found out, this is something that I probably should have looked at, beforehand, but I didn't. I'm not even going to be able to use it with the video capture card. Unfortunately, it's just not going to help. So I'm definitely going to have to upgrade the camera. The cool thing is I actually found one that's going to do exactly what I'm wanting to. Exactly. And it's going to cost me quite a bit less. So I'm excited about that. I like that whole saving money thing. It's very, very cool. So I guess without further ado, we might as well just go ahead and start diving right into this. So, as I am sure y'all are aware, there's going to be quite a few different things I'm going to touch base on right in here. But I'm sure you guys heard about the expletive that Mr. Donald Trump used in order to talk about, well, you know what? No. I'm not going to get in there just yet. I am, but not just yet. Not just yet. I'm going to go in this at another direction. So, in this meeting where he uses expletive, he was talking about, this was a meeting with, oh wow, who was it? I got it in here somewhere. I know I do. Yeah, here we go. Let me pull up this article. But he was talking with, crap, where did it go? I had it in here. I really did. I know I did, actually. I just don't remember what article it... Of course. You pause. No, you pause. There you go. All right. So, Trump was talking in, whatever. He was in a meeting. This wasn't like a press conference or anything like that. He was in a meeting. And one of the things that really annoyed and bugged me was whenever he basically stated that whole, it's like I'm trusting the people in this room to come up with a piece of legislation, throw DACA in there, whatever. I'll go ahead and sign it. I trust you guys to do the right thing. And whatever you guys do, I'm not going to fight you on it. I'll sign it. Just, throw the wall in there, so he's wanting to include the wall stuff on there. So that at least is a positive. But what irritates me is he's doing this whole backpedaling thing now, because one of his campaign promises, one of the biggest things that got him elected in the first place was his stance on, was his stance on the wall, was his stance on border security, it was his stance on immigration. That's one of the things that got him elected, And here he is basically saying, okay, we'll go ahead and we'll let all these people in here, just make sure you give me the wall. Now, my thing is, they've had their opportunity to do this, okay, already under the Reagan administration, and I believe, something happened even under Bush, and I'm not 100% sure on that one, but I know for sure under the Reagan administration, Reagan wanted security. He wanted a wall, and, Congress wanted, amnesty, and of which case there was a compromise. They got both, or at least they put both into the law. They went to president signed it. There you go. The law has already been written for the wall to be built. And in amazing fashion, the amnesty went through. The illegals got their amnesty, but no wall was ever built. The small section, sure, yeah, but that's it. Okay, the wall of what was promised, of what was, budgeted for, of what was, promised that we would get, it never got freaking built. So they've already shame on me, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. Here the president is going to Congress again, as Reagan already did, saying, do this and we can do this. I don't have any faith in Congress whatsoever. Interesting side note on that. One of the people who actually put in for the original bid on the wall back when Reagan did it, he can still do it cheaper than what was budgeted back then, even with inflation. Still going to be cheaper. So the budget's still there. My thing is, why are we even arguing this whatsoever? All they got to do is approve the funding for it, which the funding was already budgeted for. All they got to do, all Congress has to do is not write another stinking bill. All they got to do is approve the funding for it, and it can get built. That's it. You don't need to write another law, considering the law has already been written. It's freaking annoying, And one of the aspects, too, you've got, I'm calming down. I'm good. I'm gold. Weaponized Sloth Productions ruled. Yes, Mr. Vacker, it does. Ha ha. But yeah, so now here's one of the things, okay, guys? I've got no problem with immigration, okay? I really don't. Legal immigration, okay? Let's face it. I am a Heinz 57. Here's where I'm going to get a little irate, okay, guys? I'm a Heinz 57. My family, my ancestors, whatever you want to call it, they immigrated here from Germany, from Ireland, from Scotland, Canada, Norway, a handful of other places that I am aware of. They legalized here legally. They paid their money. They assimilated into our culture, learning our history. They took an oath. They believed in what they were doing, the ideals of this nation, so much that quite a few of these family members fought in wars to defend the ideals that is America. And here we are bringing these people in here, no assimilation, not learning anything about the American culture, anything about our history, our founding, anything. Doing this, we are going to lose our freaking country. I kid you not. When you keep letting these people come over here without assimilation, we are going to lose our country. We are going to lose our culture. We're going to lose what it is to be an American. When you bring Mexico here becomes like Mexico. Do you really want those problems over here? We have first world problems. Starbucks ran out of my favorite coffee. Wah. Boo freaking who. That's the problems that we have over here. And I'm thankful to have those kind of problems. Why can we have those kind of problems? Because we defend our border and we are picky on whom we allow to come into this country, because we previously, we had this ideal that if you're going to come over here to another country, you need to be able to do this and bring something here. Uplift our own society. You've got to be able to have something that we need, that we want, that we desire in order to come here. We're not just going to let anybody over here. We're not going to let just the uneducated people over here that cannot contribute to society and are going to be nothing more than a burden on our society. Why would we do that? Why would we cripple ourselves just to look like the good guys? And why are we doing this anyway? Because we already give money to Mexico for their people while they're shipping their problems of, where that money is supposed to go to in the first place, shipping their problems up here. So we're paying for them not once, but freaking twice. Why are we bringing them over here? FYI, here's a little bit more information for you. I guess I'll check my chats real quick. Yeah, exactly. You see, Ray made a good point. Just look at what's happened in Germany. You didn't have to put it in two different places, Ray. It all comes to one chat room. Just so you know, all comes to one chat. It's very, very cool. I like this. I'll check the other one. Yeah, okay. So, but we have in our education system, okay, we have what's called STEM. Classes in science, technology, engineering, and math, okay? Our own students who are graduating these colleges, 75% of them cannot get a job in their field. It's not because that they're not needed. It's not because that the jobs are not out there. It's because that the jobs go to foreigners, people who get a work visa. That's where that stuff goes to. 75% of all people who go to college with a STEM degree, science, technology, engineering, and math, these people cannot get a job in their own field because most of their jobs are going to foreigners. Why are we taking care of them, but we're not taking care of our own people? People who come across the border are getting health care immediately, getting housing immediately. They're getting taken care of. But we have vets, 22 a day, who are committing suicide because they can't get, people to understand their problems, because a society whom they have fought for, whom they risked life and limb, and whom they have seen their brothers die next to them in combat, on the streets, waiting in line, dying in those lines. But that's okay. No, it isn't. We have problems here. Why are we importing more problems? Irritating. Extremely freaking irritating. Did I do a good job remaining calm? I guess if you want to call it calm. Don't know. Bottom line is the Democrats are losing voters, especially with this new, tax reform bill that just got passed. The Democrats want to say that, you're a fool. You shouldn't want this money for yourself, because we're the ones who say, what you're, we say what you should want. You should give your money to us so that this way we can provide for you. Bottom line is, the more people that are no longer dependent upon government, they don't need the government anymore. Well, government doesn't like that whenever they're no longer needed, because they don't want to lose their funding. So the Democrats want to, import voters. The Republicans are wanting low-wage workers. That's another thing too. Whenever you have a bigger draw, all right, it's civics, guys. It's the law of supply and demand. I apologize. I do not understand Espanol. No comprende Espanol. It's a little bit, not much. Yeah. Where was I? I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember. My eyes went elsewhere, and so did the thought. Actually, my mind went elsewhere. My eyes went to the thing. My mind kept going, and I did not keep up with that at all. Any help? I have no clue. I can't hit the rewind button, guys. That would totally, I'm sure, screw stuff up immensely, which would actually be pretty hilarious. I'd laugh, but oh yeah, supply and demand, workers. So here's the thing, guys. When you have an abundance of people to work a job, the wages are not going to go up. Okay. In fact, people who work STEM jobs because of an abundance of people in the workflow or in the our country that have that type of education and are looking for that type of a job, the wages hasn't gone up for STEM positions in quite a long time. It just hasn't. Why? Why would they go up? What, you leave your job? Well, they'll just get somebody else right off the street because, that there you go. You know, that's what's going to happen. So you have an overabundance of people to work a job and not too many jobs that are needing to be filled. So you get rid of the people whom don't belong here anyway. It is by nature, it's going to remove some of the supply, not increasing demand. But in order for these people to keep the people that, in order for these companies to keep the people that they already have, they're going to have to raise wages in order to keep them there. They're going to have to offer them more benefits to keep them there so that this way they don't have to train new employees. That's just the way it is. It's civics. It's economics. It's the law of supply versus demand. Precisely. There's another aspect of this that I'm going to get into after I take a quick break. I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break. Mellow myself out a little bit, maybe. Maybe. Quick break, and then there's another aspect of this that I'm going to get into, okay? Something that the president said in this private meeting, and I want to touch base on that right after this.
I'll be back.
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 I'm back.
If we forget what we did, we won't know who we are.
All right, guys. Welcome back. Still broadcasting live from the attic. I didn't exactly take a chill pill. I should. All right, so another aspect of this, like I said, I was going to get into. Now again, guys, I was like, okay, I've worked with people from Mexico. I have been trained by Mexican, by Latinos, by, whatever, Latinos and Latinas, I've got nothing against foreigners. Hell, my grandmother was a Canadian citizen till the day that she died, okay? A visa that she had to renew periodically, okay? My grandmother was from Canada, all right? I have zero problem with legal immigration, zero problem with foreigners. I've known quite a few over the years. Hell, I've liked them. Got no problem with them. I'm not racist. I don't care. It doesn't mean anything to me, okay? It's somebody's merit. It's not the color of their skin. It's not their religion. It's not their creed. It's not their country of origin. It's not anything. I don't care. It's about merit, So you have a group of people whom are coming over here, and not just, people from Mexican, people from El Salvador, people from yeah, whatever. It's people that are coming from just down there. Which way am I facing? I don't even know. People from down there. Down in Mexico. Down from further south in Mexico. Them coming over here, breaking the law. Now granted, maybe they're doing it for a good reason. Okay? But even still, there's a right way to do it. And if you don't do that right way, there's consequences. We are a sovereign nation. In order to hold on to your sovereignty, you know what? Daggone it. I didn't do. You know what, guys? I apologize about that. Mr. Spreaker people. I just realized that I forgot to unmute the microphone. So, my apologies. Smack me later. It'd be okay. Yeah, Ray brought up a good point. People coming in illegally and giving them stuff is a slap in the face to the ones who have come here legally. Not only is it a slap in the face to the ones that have come here legally, it's quite frankly, it's a smack in the face to those whom are forced as a citizen every single day to follow freaking laws. Let's break it down here a little bit for you, okay? I am a citizen. Natural born United States citizen. I wanted a license. I had to go to driver's ed. Had to take a road test, had to take a written test. I have to follow laws. If I do not follow laws, I have to pay fines, jail time even, depending on how severe some of these crimes are that you would commit, under your license that you have to buy back from the state in order to have a freedom. Pay fines. All kinds of other things. You're an illegal. Okay, you break that, you break that law, you speed, or whatever the case may be. We'll just say speeding. And then you got to pay fine. You break that law, over 3 times, you get suspended. You get your license suspended. You got to take a class to get it reinstated, depending on how bad you messed up to get your license suspended. And you have to pay even more money in insurance and all kinds of other BS. Okay? You're an illegal. What do you do to get a license? You don't. You just drive. What happens if you speed? Oh, well, you have no license. Oh, well, I guess I can't give you a ticket. What happens? What happens? Slap in the hand. That's it. Here I am. We are a nation of laws, and me as a citizen, I have to obey these laws, or there are financial and or jail consequences to this. If an illegal breaks these crimes, what happens? Oh, well, gee, you're not in the system. I guess there's nothing we can do then. Nothing. Or they just get deported so they can walk back across the border the next day. It is a bunch. It's crock. It's crock. And yes, Mr. Ray, I did it again. As far as the whole, I screwed something up. So, but yes. So, moving on from that into the topic of which I said I was going to be talking about. And this is about, Mr. Trump's referring to certain nations as, I'm going to go ahead and say it, shitholes. Which I thought was hilarious because, here Mr. Trump, he loves doing the whole, making, being a marionette, pulling the strings of the liberal media and getting them to do whatever he wants and making them cuss without bleeping. CNN did it, All right, so here's my thing, guys. Okay, he said it. Now I want to propose this to you. So what? Okay, so President Trump calling it as he sees it. At least he's being honest. Okay. Now, here is an aspect of communism and socialism, and this is a Marxist principle and idea. Okay. Break it down to you. Borderless society. We're fighting with that right now. Also, with creating a type of non-cultural bias to where you are not saying, or it is wrong to say that one culture is better than another culture, making them all together. And by disagreeing with that premise, you call anybody who disagrees with it basically racist. That is a Marxist principle. I am not Marxist. I believe in the Constitution, I believe in freedom, and I believe that, yes, you can have cultures that are superior than others. I'm not talking about the people, I'm talking about the culture. Okay? Let me break it down a little bit for you. He was specifically talking about Africa, so let's talk about Africa and other countries, but, let's break it down to you. Okay? In America, we have certain technological advances. We have certain things that we do and how we do things, advances in medicine, advances in sanitation, advances in education. Okay, that's debatable, but we have certain advances that has made it to where certain things are not a problem, certain diseases are not a problem, okay, because of these advances, because of our social structure and our culture. These things are not an issue. You have other countries who do not have things like running water. They don't have very good sanitation. They do not have a technically advanced culture, and that has bred problems. Cultures who don't really, people that don't really interact well with others, people whom are, sick because of different diseases that we don't have here. And you should be thankful we do not have here. One of the problems with these people coming across the border, the illegals that are coming across the border and not getting proper, screening like what we had back in the day. We had Ellis Island where we quarantined people, and we made sure that they weren't bringing anything over here that we did not want in America, any diseases and things like that. We're not getting that now in the southern border. And so what we are having is diseases come across the border that previously we didn't have to deal with. Why? Because we are not protecting our freaking border, people. It is a problem. Like it or hate it, it is a problem. Yes, there are cultures that are inferior to America. We should be grateful for that. But you know what? Here's the thing, no. That's not our fault. And I hate to sound callous, but I really don't care. It's not our problem either. I'm sorry for these nations. I really do. I feel for some of these countries. But again, we have problems of our own here. Let's fix our problems so that this way then we could honestly and truly, with the support of the American people, then we can help out other countries. Then we can be, the givers that is in most of our hearts anyway. We're broken here. How can we fix somebody else? We're already trying by throwing money at them, and then we welcome across our borders anyway, and it's not really helping. Yeah. Yeah. So there are my issues, some of my issues with this whole, thing. But yes, there are differences in culture. And you know what? We should not be ashamed of ourselves because we have, and I don't want to say that we've been, we've had it too good. You know what? We've a civilized country, we've had it because of our laws, because of our ideals, because we strive for greatness. It has helped us, it has benefited us, and it has blessed us. And why should we feel bad about, okay, we can have missions go over there. Churches do it all the time. Okay. But until you change some of these cultures, they live like savages, and again, this isn't anything against the people. They struggle in these places and they do what they have to do. But when you welcome that here without proper education, without proper vetting, without proper assimilation, you bring it here. And we don't want that here. Look at what's happening in Europe. They're having problems over there. Why? You guessed it. They're allowing things to come across their border that doesn't jive with their own culture and society. They have problems. I don't want those problems here. I really don't. I don't want those problems here. Because none of these people, none of these liberals who are voting for this stuff, none of them are going to let that stuff in their backyard. None of them are going to tell the illegal family that is going to bring 20 or 30 others of their own family without being vetted into their own home. If they believe so much that these dreamers are great and wonderful people and have so much to offer the society, then maybe they should let them in their own house. That's breaking and entering. No, it's not. He's just an undocumented resident of your home. You have to let him stay. Ridiculous. All right, guys. I'm going to take a break. And then I'm going to move on completely into something else. Yeah, I'm going to talk about some Clinton stuff and, a couple other things on here. But some Clinton news that just came out. I believe, actually, it got released today, if I'm not mistaken. I'm actually kind of excited about what I had heard. And again, this is one of them things that I don't really see anything really coming from it. But, at the same time, I'm just checking something. Okay. But yeah, I don't really see anything huge happening from it in a matter of speaking. I think it's a political move that they're doing. So, a few minutes. I will be right back.
I'll be 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 back. I'll be back.
I'm back.
ever forget that we're one nation under God, then we will be a nation going under.
All right, and welcome back to the Ho-Ho Show. And, of course, I am your host, Ho-Ho. And so, I am moving on off of the immigration thing. I think I have gotten irate enough on this. All right, let's see. As I had stated, the next thing I'm wanting to dive into is something that I am quite surprised to actually have heard about. You know, something that, truth be told, I didn't see it happen. I really didn't. Not at all. So, let me go ahead and open up this headline, or this article. This is from Town Hall headline: indictment handed out an illegal Russian bribery and Uranium One scandal. Woohoo! As I'm sure you guys are aware, Jeff Sessions, I believe is what his name was. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember. Anyway, they stated that they were going to, based off of new evidence that they found and some more stuff, that they were going to go ahead and open up another investigation on the Clinton Foundation. And when in doing so, they found quite a bit of not like they didn't have a bunch of damning evidence already, but they decided to actually go ahead and go forth and bring up charges and actually indict. I was like, about stinking time. About time. Let me go ahead and kind of, find this other article that I had seen. I love this one. Boom, Department of Justice issues indictment over bribery scandal tied to Uranium One. I'm assuming. Yeah, Uranium One deal. So, oh yeah, I think this is actually one that says whom it was. At any rate, charges stemming from, investigation stuff that even began back in 2009 and continued until sometime October 2014. But yeah, just, there was, this is one of them things that kind of cracks me up and annoys me at the same time. You've got them just continually hitting Trump and hitting Trump and hitting Trump with this stuff. And it's like, really, guys, where were you on the Clinton Foundation? Where were you on Uranium One? Where were you on, the Chinese getting the technology to shoot down, I think 2 years later after the fact, a U.S. satellite? Where were you when this stuff was going on? So finally, indictment. Again, I have absolutely no idea. I mean, guys, there's so much stuff that the Clintons have done. I mean, it is holy crap. It is holy cow. I mean, I could recap on some of it, but in the matter of speaking, I don't really see the point. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, there's just so much information out there. It would take me a day. It would take me a week to gather all of it, and I can do are you ready for this one, Ray? I can do a 10-hour show on this stupid stuff, and, because there's that much information out there, that many strings, that many connections between all these different people involved in this. The cover up is huge and massive. Still, what some of my reserve is, who knows what's actually going to happen from this? I mean, really. I have absolutely no idea if we are actually even going to see any type of prosecution being done out of this. It's one of them things, in a matter of speaking, because of how long this has been going on, because of how deep the cover-up goes, and the whoms that are involved in this, like anything that actually does happen from it, the amount of people that would have to be prosecuted because that their hand is also in the cookie jar and the evidence is going to prove it and show it, I really don't see anything happening. I mean, I really don't. I'll believe it when I see it, and that's pretty much my attitude on it. I'll believe it when I see it, but at least a step has been taken in the right direction that at least has given me a little bit of hope. I mean, not a lot of hope, but a little bit of hope. Yeah, he, Vacker told me that he was about ready to message me to tell me to unmute the mic because I was an idiot and forgot to unmute it. Yeah. Well, I'm at least glad I caught it before too much time went by, But yeah, I mean, it's just one of them things with this deal that I'll believe it when I see it, And I'm sure that there's quite a few other people out there that would pretty much agree with me. I'll believe it when I see it. So moving on to the next story. Now this one, I actually kind of thought it was, well, okay, it's terrifying. Actually, yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Terrifying. Let me pull up the article as soon as I find it. There it is. Now, this headline comes from Real Clear Defense. Headline, Russia's nuclear underwater drone is real. Now, of course, there's this schematic thing, and the whole thing is obviously written in Russian, and I can't read a single word of it. Not at all. But I guess Russia has been doing quite a bit of work with modernizing their legacy, their Soviet nuclear systems, been doing underwater drones, underwater unmanned nuclear launching pads, I guess you can say, or whatever you want to call it. And I guess they're even trying all kinds of different things with different, launchers and whatnot. So, they're doing, they're doing quite a bit of stuff to up their game in the nuclear aspect of things, and of which case that is also, triggered us to do some stuff as well. There has been, reports out that, with Trump doing nuclear advancement, and of which case, he's getting slammed for it, like saying that, oh, well, you guys shouldn't be doing this. It's putting forth the wrong message to our allies and our enemies, and we don't really want to do that. But it's like, you know what? It's one of them things that I believe in peace through strength. Because nobody picks a fight with the baddest guy in the yard. Just doesn't happen. I like Tony Stark on this, on the first one. His dad said that he believed in a weapon, or he liked a weapon that you didn't have to fire at all. And he was like, I disagree. I like a weapon that you only have to fire once, and then everybody knows, leave you the heck alone. Truth be told, that's why we did it to, I shouldn't say that. Japan, I shouldn't say that. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that at all. That's just wrong. But yeah, I believe in a weapon that you only have to fire once. Peace through strength. If everybody knows not to mess with you, people are going to be less likely to mess with you. That's just kind of the way it is. And going on that and stuff, this next headline, let me find it. Where did I put that? There it is. All right, this next headline comes from Reuters, Reuters, I can't read sometimes. English is a first language. Headline, U.S. ultimatum on nuclear deal. Now sanctions draw Iran threat. New sanctions draw Iran threat. All kinds of pictures in here. Get through the pictures. So Iran said on Saturday that it would retaliate against new sanctions imposed by the U.S. after Donald Trump set an ultimatum to fix disastrous flaws in a deal curbing Tehran's nuclear program. See, one of the things that is back in the news again is that whole, the Iranian deal, and of which case it pretty well looks like Russia's like, stay out of it. But, and this is one of the things that, Trump promised during his campaign that he was going to, do away with what President Obama had done and make a new deal, a better deal, one that actually benefits the American people. There you go. I had a hard time talking there for a second, but there you go. And I am very much looking forward to, really? Oh yeah. Sorry. There we go. All right. But, I'm looking forward to seeing what, oh no, wait, I can't really say that because I can't say as if I'm looking forward to it. In a matter of speaking, there's a couple things that Trump has done that it has irked me. But even still, if he follows through with this campaign promise and he actually does it the way that he said that he would, I'm looking forward to it. Get the thing off of there because, guys, let's face it, okay? The Iran deal had nothing in there to benefit the U.S. It had absolutely nothing. Part of it was, you had 20 days. It might have been 22 days or 24 days, but let's just keep it simple. 20 days before they got noticed of, hey, we want to inspect one of your nuclear facilities and make sure that you're not making nuclear weapons. And they approve not only the day, they approve the facility, and they approve those whom are going to be giving them the inspection. And they have 22 days from the notification to when they actually get the inspection. How is that helping anybody? Well, no, let me rephrase this. This is only helping the Iranians. Yeah, it's only helping them. That's it. That's all it's helping. It's not helping us. It's not helping our allies. It's not helping anybody but them. They can go in there. They can scrub the place down. They can clean it up to the best of their ability. Or they can just flat say, you're not going to inspect here. You're not going to inspect that area. You're not going to inspect this area. And they can do that, and there's nothing we can do to stop them. And we are not even the ones that are going to be doing the inspections in the first place. We are relying on a third-party source to tell us that everything's good. And we're supposed to take their word on it. Yeah. How does that benefit us? How does that help us? How does that keep Iran from becoming nuclear and blowing up our allies? How does that help us keep that from happening? The answer is it doesn't. Not at all. Doesn't help. So how is this a good deal? How is this something that we should have been joyous about? And there's one of them things, though, too. Just like the Obamacare, they refused to tell us what was in this deal, and they didn't even say the whole, hey, you've got to pass it in order to find out what's in it. We didn't even get that. It was oh, no, we can't tell you what was in it. Why not? What, is there something wrong with it? Oh, no, it's great. You guys will love it. We did exactly what we should have done and what we were supposed to do and blah, 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 blah. But why can't you let us know what's in it? Just too good. You would faint on how good it is. That's basically the jargon that we got. But the fact of the matter is, stuff that had gotten leaked, it was horrible for the American people, and I can't wait for this thing to get removed, to get abolished, to get finished to where we can no longer be held to this stupid thing and no longer be subject to it. And I just realized that there was something that I left out of this whole, DACA thing that I was talking about a while back ago. The last segment. Or maybe it was a segment before that. At any rate, there was something I forgot. Something I totally forgot. I'm just going to check in a couple things right quick, guys. And yep. And yep. And the last thing to check. And yep. Okay, very good. All right, so here's also a thing too. Okay? Just so you guys know, DACA was unconstitutional. Okay? Now, I'm not going to argue the whole America has a immigration problem as to where we need to fix our immigration laws and stuff of that nature. Part of the thing that very much irritates me is all these people, the Democrats and the Republicans, for the most part, a lot of the establishment Republicans, okay, they cry the same thing. Our immigration system is broken. We need to fix it. Okay. When was the last time in the past 9-10 years minimum, okay, when was the last time in the past decade that they have done any type of a law to change how we handle immigration? I don't remember any. Instead, what we've been having forced down our throat is just let them come over and we'll just give them, citizenship and give them DACA and give them amnesty and all this other kind of good crap. That's what we've been doing. We haven't been changing the law, and we have allowed, the President Obama to overstep his bounds that were put on him by the Constitution, and he just unilaterally said, I am not going to act on the best interest of the citizen. I am not going to fulfill my oath of office and actually uphold the laws that Congress has passed. Instead, I'm going to act unilaterally and say, those laws don't mean anything to me, and you can stay here and do whatever you want to. That's pretty much what happened. And now, we have a president who was like, you know what, this was an unconstitutional executive order. I'm going to do away with this. Shouldn't we be happy? And shouldn't we be grateful that the president is staying within his constitutional boundaries and going, we're not going to stand for this type of activity? I, for one, am. So I'm going to take another break. Oh, yeah, that whole, who was it? California, I think. California was like, we're going to sue Trump for his stance on DACA and with wanting to do away with it. It's like, who the heck do you guys think you are? This is a federal issue. The state has absolutely no authority in immigration. None at all. It is a federal issue. And you are arguing in favor of an unconstitutional executive order. What the heck is wrong with you people? And this is also hugely irritating to me. You have, you have justices and judges that are okay with this. It's like, no, you people do not have the ability, the right, the freedom to decide what in the Constitution you are and are not going to uphold, because the Constitution is a very document which gives you authority. Therefore, you don't have the authority to interpret the Constitution. It was written simply for simple people to understand it. You don't need a doctorate in order to understand that document. You don't need it. I'm an idiot, and I understand it perfectly well. Hello. Irritating. Anyway, going to go ahead and take a quick break. When I return, I've got a couple miscellaneous news, something on the Las Vegas shooter, a few items with the Republican Party, an update on the swatting incident, and something on another person. That was so much information right there, wasn't it? All right, guys. A few minutes. Be right back.
I'll be 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 back. I'll be back.
I'm back.
I am not going to exploit for political purposes my opponent's youth and inexperience.
And we're back. All right, I am going to go ahead and dive right into this. This next headline, holy crap, I can talk, really I can. This next headline comes from the Western Journal. Headline, FBI documents reveal new details on Las Vegas gunman's girlfriend. Okay, now, here's the thing. There are aspects of this that are quite curious, okay? I'm not going to, I don't believe the conspiracy theorist stuff out there saying that, multiple gunmen in the room, all this other kind of stuff, that he was dead before they even got in there and it was somebody else who was able to escape. I don't believe any of that. All right, here's why. If this was some inside job, if this was somebody whom knew what he was doing, military, CIA, whatever, they would have used the tools necessary to maximize damage. That wasn't done. Okay? Yes, 58 people killed, over 500 wounded. But truth be told, considering the angle the guy had, if he had a more precision weapon, not using something as ridiculous and gimmicky as a bump stock, it would have been a lot higher. Okay, so that alone is why I do not believe the conspiracy theorists on that kind of stuff. All right, but that's not to say that there's not things that went kind of hinky. Okay, for instance, with the first responder, the security guard, he was going to do interviews with, I believe, the FBI and other people, but instead he, didn't, was on like, a 2-week hiatus, and then showed up on the Ellen DeGeneres show and did an interview there. Now granted, I think somebody screwed up somewhere. And that's why, because another hinky aspect of it is, after a little bit of time passed, there was a complete media blackout on what was going on. Okay. Whether that was because they were trying to hide something or whether that was because there just wasn't anything to report and there was other things that was going on that was more meaningful, I guess, more newsworthy, I guess you can say, who knows? But, there are some things that has been discovered and released on her that, not necessarily her direct involvement, although they are, not ruling that out, because she has been pretty forthcoming with information and she has been very cooperative. They're not really, more or less suspecting her of any wrongdoing. I think in a matter of speaking, they are more or less saying that she knew more than what she knew it was going to happen. Maybe not where, but she knew what, and she didn't do anything about it. It's probably where they're going with this, But that's more or less what it looks like. And with what they're saying on here, they suspect that she knew more than what she is basically letting them believe that she knew. Because her initial, her initial statements where I had absolutely no idea anything was going on. Yes, him sending me to my family outside the country was extremely unusual, but I didn't suspect anything. I didn't know anything, and I had no reason to believe anything like this, that he was capable of doing anything like this. And that's more or less what it amounted to, of what she originally said. So, there you have it. So, new information, more or less them thinking because of this, because he did a huge amount of work to try to keep this as quiet as possible and off the grid and, using multiple burner phones in order to hide and mask his activities and where he was going to make him less trackable and whatnot. So, there's a lot of things that they are very much saying that he was, definitely premeditated. And he had been planning it for quite a while, So there you have it. This next article moving on. As soon as I find this article. Yeah, I'm not even talking about that one. I don't care. Oh, yeah. Down, not up. All right, here we go. This next article, it comes from the Rolling Stone. Sweet. Headline, why are so many Republicans running for the exits? Now, this one, yeah. So far, there are a whopping 31 incumbents that are walking away from their offices prior to the midterm election. And let's see, I believe the Democrats need to get like 25 seats in order to recapture the House. And one of them things, okay, there's basically, as I see it, take it for what you will. As I see it, there's like two possibilities for this. Okay. One possibility, Lethal Weapons are on Netflix now. That's just cool. Little Joe Pesci, Leo gets in there. Anywho, there's two possibilities that of how I see it. Pop-ups. I hate pop-ups of why this is happening. Okay. One possibility is, these are incumbents. These are, Republicans who do not see eye to eye with the president's agenda and whom has, failed their constituents to the point that they are afraid that they're not going to be able to get reelected. So in order to, as you can say, bow out gracefully, they're stepping down instead of being disgraced. That's one way of looking at it, or one possibility. The other possibility is, this one is a bit more, whatever that word is. The other possibility is that they are bowing out in order to increase the chances of that seat going to a Democrat. Because let's just face it. The name that everybody knows is more apt to get elected into a seat outside of any type of a big public scandal. That's just kind of the way it is. You're more apt to see a name that regardless of the person's politics, their stances, and how they have voted on things. You're just more apt to do that than to put somebody else in there because they are a better choice. So they're possibly stepping down in order to help the Democrats' chance of winning back the House and the Senate. In this case, the Senate. Or I'm sorry, the House. Yeah, the House. That's another possibility. So, what say you guys on that? Do you guys, pretty well feel the same way? And personally, that can go either way. I think that may be more so a little bit of a combination of both. A little combination of both. Security are not allowed to do interviews or. Yes, Mr. Facker. Security are not allowed to do interviews or talk to the press when there is an incident. But yeah, so he went on the Ellen show before he even did any type of an interview with FBI and really giving I guess you could say, an official story. Because one of the things about that is, we're taking a couple steps back, but one of the things about that is, there was a few different. I guess there's like 3 or 4 different timelines involved in this based off of the information that they were gathering at the time. Okay. So that's one of the aspects on that makes, of why things are kind of hinky with the Las Vegas shooting. You wanted to pimp slap him. Pimp slap who? Who are you talking about? A little bit of a delay. Pimp slapped the guy because he went on the Ellen show instead of actually talking to FBI about what had happened. But he hadn't said that. I'm assuming that's what he's talking about. Yeah, the security guy. Okay, so, but yeah, I mean that's just one of the holes in this whole thing that just makes things a little on the hinky side. Is it with the accounts the timeline is it's not 100%. They're not 100% sure on the timeline because of the conflicting stories that they've gotten, the conflicting reports, and and one of my feelings on this is that there has been the media blackout on that because somebody screwed up somewhere. Okay. That's just my personal opinion. I think somebody screwed up to the point to where it's something that maybe should have been caught, should have been stopped sooner, but because somebody dropped the ball somewhere along the lines in the procedure of how they're supposed to handle certain situations and do certain things, I think somebody dropped the ball. That's more or less what I think. Unverified, unconfirmed. Word of the day is hinky. Yes, it is. I guess I've watched too much NCIS. Miss Abby Shuto is rubbing off on me, but I like hinky. It's a good word. But that's just more or less what my personal opinion is on that. That's what I think that it happened. Just some procedural thing wasn't followed properly because there's a big gap between the time that the first shots were fired and the security arrived on the scene that the police showed up. And it's like, what took them so long? I mean, yeah, for somebody like me trying to get there due to the roadblocks and the event going on, yeah, it's going to take me a while to get there. But a police in a car with flashing lights, they can move the roadblocks and get people out of the way. Not so much of a problem for them. So, that's, again, is one of them things that just, it's hinky. And yes, I like that word. I'm going to use it. I don't care. Moving on. What was I talking about before that? Oh, yeah. So, again, that's what my view is, my couple views on why so many Republicans are backing out before the midterm elections. So moving on to the next story, and as I had said before I had went to break, this next article, as I know I brought it up on a previous show, I don't know, shortly after it happened, but this headline comes from Fox News. Headline: California man charged in Kansas for Call of Duty swatting hoax that led to fatal police shooting. He is getting charged with involuntary manslaughter. Now, I had heard bits and pieces of an interview that he did after the fact, and it was just accepting no personal responsibility for what happened. He didn't care that somebody died. He didn't care that he, called the police and, falsifying a police report, how's that worded? Making a false claim, a false report, filing a false report, that led to somebody dying. He didn't care. Completely did not care. No, I don't blame the stupid video games. No, this is a question of this person's character and moral fortitude. Okay, this guy is a piece of work. It annoys me that it is only involuntary manslaughter. Okay? Because that's annoying to me. The man should have gotten more. The piece of crap should have gotten charged with more. Okay, he's even pictured in here with a slight smirk on his face. I mean, really? Smack that smirk off his face. Smack that smirk off his... That's really hard to say. But yeah, it's falsified the police report. They had an argument in the game of Call of Duty. I don't know which one it was. It doesn't even matter. I don't even know what it was. But the guy was ticked, started threatening him. He's like, I'm going to swat you. Oh yeah, go ahead. Here's my address. Go ahead and swat me. The guy called the cops, made a false police report, claiming that he was a gunman and was going to kill a bunch of people. And then next thing you know, the SWAT shows up at the person's house, kills him, but it wasn't even that guy's house. And this guy was so calloused, so didn't even care about what he did, did not care that somebody died, didn't care that it was the wrong guy and he was played, didn't care, showed no remorse, didn't care. Ridiculous. As if, he wasn't to blame for this. He had nothing to do with it. It wasn't his fault. It's that guy's fault because he gave him a false address. That's his fault. Yeah. Now you see why I was annoyed at that? Piece of work. The guy deserves to get more than just involuntary manslaughter. He should be charged with a heck of a lot more than that. Moving on to the next story. This one came from, I think it was Independent Journal Register, if I'm not mistaken. First, I got to find the story because I know that it's in here. Yeah, there it is. I found it. Nope, I'm sorry. It came from the Western Journal. Headline, a woman is calling for Mike Rowe to be fired for being an ultra right-wing conservative. This one, okay. This right here is an aspect of, I don't even care about the article. This right here is an aspect of why we have the thought police, out there controlling everything. Heaven forbid you have an idea that, or a point of view that contradicts or does not go along with mine. Therefore, you've got to go because I do not want to hear an argument from somebody, a point of view from somebody that doesn't agree with me. That's got to go. Thought police are out in charge, and this is what they do if they don't like what you have to say. I want him to be fired. Really? I want you to change the stinking channel and leave Mike Rowe alone. That's what I want. But gee, apparently we can't both have our, we can't both be grown-ass adults here. Apparently not, because these guys don't want to be grown-ass adults. They're little bitty baby children. Ridiculous. I call shenanigans. I very much call shenanigans. They are controlling every aspect of your lives. The social justice warriors, the thought police, they want you to think a certain way, and anybody who doesn't, here's the thing, guys. If people out there in droves that did not like what he was doing, they would be boycotting the product that he is supporting, and he would get fired from this. That's how the free market works. There is no need to shame somebody in the court of law, in the court of, maybe not necessarily the court of social justice, but there's no need to shame him to the point of, I am calling for him to be fired. That's ridiculous just because he has a different view than you do. And just an FYI, if you look into the history of the founding of some of our institutes of higher learning, you will come to find out a shocking fact. It was the Christian churches, the Christians who believed in knowledge and understanding. How does crap work? The birth of, how did I word this? The birth of the age of reason. It came from the church because we wanted to know, how does things work? Let's put this together. We understood reason, and we wanted places of higher education. Harvard, I believe. I could be wrong on that. Harvard, but I believe Harvard was founded from that. The birth of the age of reason came from these Bible-thumping people that don't want anything to do with science. Science came from the people who don't like science. Yeah. Just an FYI. So you know. Yeah. All right, guys. That pretty well concludes the show. Gotta love the thought police. Yep. Gotta love the thought police. I don't like the thought police. Well, guys, I thank you very much for tuning at Thank you very much for tuning in, for joining me today. Tomorrow on Religion Ho-Ho's Way, I have absolutely, well, I can't say I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to do. You know, quite a few different ideas in my head on what I'm going to talk about. But I don't know yet. I'm still tossing up a couple things. I know I missed last week. Things happened, and a travesty was born. I'm weird. But I thank you guys very much for joining in. And y'all have a wonderful evening. Good night. Sleep tight. And if the bed bugs bite them, by golly, bite them back.
I'll be back.
I'll be
Oh,
back.
wait.
I'll be back.
I guess I shouldn't play that one.
I'll be back.
I'm back.
Let's wait. There we go.
John the non-believer. John.
Thank you.